Hello guys, very good evening. Today is second day of our React Native Mastery course. You all know that we are following a different approach. We will create an e-commerce application within these 10 days, within these 10 sessions. And each day we will create a specific component or a specific portion of our project and learn whatever necessary. In addition to that, we will learn the boring theory parts. Those are as much as important your practical. Because doing something and understanding the concept clearly, both are different things and you need both of them. Nowadays, so many of the freshers, those I have interviewed, they have an excellent project, but they are not able to explain it. They are not able to explain the concepts, what they implemented, why they implemented. Those things are most important for an interviewer to understand, that whether you have done all these things by knowing the concepts or simply you have copied from any AI tool, maybe ChatGPT, or maybe you have copied the whole project from GitHub, right? So you have to clearly mention each and every concept, what you have implemented, why you have implemented, and you can explain that only you have a better understanding. That's we are trying to resolve in this course. Okay, so today is our second day and we will create the product page of our e-commerce application. Don't worry if you don't have any clarity till now, because yesterday's session was power packed, so you may get confused on so many things, but believe me, gradually when we move forward throughout our sessions, you will get a clear understanding. But yes, definitely you have to do hard work. That is the only thing that can make you success. Okay, there is no shortcut. Okay, so let's continue with our session. First we will try to understand what is JSX. Okay, generally what happens when we talk about a React Native course or a React course, instructor go from the very basics step by step and try to clear each and every concept. That is fine. Okay. But what really happens when you actually write code which you will implement in a project, at that time you get bored about the course because due to all these theories. Okay, so we are following this approach. In previous session we created a counter app, right? If you have not seen that, then go to this website, techcraftcourse.subratkumar.com, and then you can see. Okay, just click here, the YouTube tutorial will open. But if you are a subscriber of this React Native Mastery document, then you know that weekly you will get 3 sessions. For others, weekly only 1 session. So all will get the sessions, maybe little bit earlier or little bit late, but everyone will get it. So if you have not gone through this one or acquired this one, then please do it today. And if you need a 50% discount coupon, then message me in Telegram group. I will give you to that one. Now let's start our course. So what is JSX? JSX means JavaScript XML. So generally we know that we are creating a JavaScript application, right? In JavaScript, you cannot write HTML code. Okay, if you have created applications in JavaScript itself, core JavaScript, then you may know that you have to create a separate file, then document.getElement by ID to get the HTML ID, and then combine those two, right? But in React, we can directly write JavaScript code within HTML, and within HTML we can write JavaScript code. So we are writing a mix of both. What is that? Let's see. Here, let us create a new file a new function, let us say app. Okay, it is a JavaScript arrow function, right? Everyone knows this. Now it is returning heading with hello world, and we will export this one, export default app. Okay, so what we did here, we created a function, named it app, and it is returning a hello world, right? That's it, very simple. So if you don't know JavaScript, you have never created an application, then don't worry, follow me step by step, you will get a clear understanding. Now you can see here the output hello world. Okay, now let's try to understand what we did here. This one, a h1 tag, right? Everyone knows about this HTML h1 tag, that is for heading. If we want to convert it to React Native, what we will do, we will import text from React Native, because in React Native we don't have this h1 tags, right? And we will use text instead of h1. Okay, so now we have this hello world, which will display in web, in Android, as well as in iOS, because we know that React Native under the hood converts its UI to the specific platforms. So with a single code base, we can create web, iOS, and Android, all three types of applications, right? That we know. So now let's move a little bit further. I will increase this. Yes, I think now it is clearly visible. Yes. Okay, let's click on Android now and see whether it is displaying in Android or not. Okay, it is displaying in Android as well. We can give it a style, font size 30. Okay, now you can see it, right? Let me make it 50. So now you can see it. Why it is going beyond the camera, that we will discuss later. Okay, don't worry that for now. So it is displaying in web, in Android, in iOS, everywhere. But if we go for that h1 tag that we did earlier, will it display in Android? Let's see. So I will go to Android. Is it displaying? No. Why? Because Android don't know what is h1, right? That's why it gave us error. h1 must be a function received undefined. It don't have any idea about that h1, what this tag is for. Okay, so these things we have already discussed yesterday, but again we are recalling whatever we discussed a little bit so that we will get a clear understanding of the concepts. When we wrote text, it automatically converts to specific platform related UI and display it. We don't have to worry for that, right? That's why we wrote here text. Okay, but there may be cases where we need specific elements from that specific platform. Okay, that is called our platform specific code, and we will learn about that as well in our upcoming sessions, how to write platform specific code. Okay, for now don't worry for it. Here let me add a variable. Suppose let name equal Ramesh. Okay, and I want to display here hello Ramesh. So I will write here curly braces and use the variable name. Okay. Now you can see hello Ramesh here. Okay. So what we did here, if you observe carefully, this is a UI element, right? Think of it as a HTML element. And here is our closing tag for that UI element. But here we have a JavaScript variable. Got it? So what we are doing, we are trying to write HTML and JavaScript simultaneously and returning it. This is called JavaScript XML or JSX in short. Okay, got the clear idea about JSX? Now, if you want to go deeper, then in the notes you will get that. Okay, I have explained with proper examples. You can try all this. Okay, how we are writing in normal JavaScript and then how we are converting that to JSX and how it works under the hood. Okay, everything is explained here. I think there should not be any confusion. Okay, now let me go to the final step. 1 second. Okay, so here let me go to the final step to explain what it do under the hood, because React is a library, right? And this library helps us writing JavaScript code in a better way. It has inbuilt functions that do the things under the hood. We don't have to worry for that. It will just give you the final result. Okay, think of an example adding to different numbers. 3 plus 5 is 8, right? Now you wrote a function which will add these two numbers. So you just have to pass the two numbers and you will get the result, right? Think of it as a machine. Suppose a bottle manufacturing machine. So we put plastic and it generates bottles. Okay. Now, if you want to do that manually, then it is too tough task, right? So similarly, these libraries encapsulate the complex logic. They have ready-made functions for that. We are just using those functions to get our output. So what should we learn? Should we learn JavaScript only, vanilla JavaScript, or should we learn these libraries? Which is important? It is very much important to learn JavaScript. Okay, because libraries may change. Now React is there, anything else may come. Okay, React Native is there, something else may come. But you should have a good understanding of the core JavaScript. And that we will do in our JavaScript masterclass. Specially, we will focus more on that. But now I will suggest you, if you want to learn any concept deeply, then go through the MD and docs. You can learn that. But the basic things we will discuss here. Okay. Now let us come to our function again. So here what we did, we wrote this JSX, right? Now how it works under the hood? Under the hood, it uses react.createElement, okay, for React. And this h1 tag plus whatever variables or text that you gave, this will be passed. So it will act like your JavaScript and will create these elements. Okay. In React Masterclass, actually, we have discussed this thoroughly. You go through this documentation. If still you have any doubt, you can ask me in the Telegram group. I will clarify this one, or will make a certain video for this. Okay. Now, this is a JSX example with styling and all those things. Okay. You can go through it. Now let's come to our next part, that is safe area view. Safe area view. We have missed something. Components. Yes. Okay, this part we will cover now. So here, whatever we wrote, this is called a component. If you are a React developer, you know that React follows component-based architecture. The whole program is divided into smaller components. As we are creating an e-commerce application, let us think about that one. So in an e-commerce application, suppose you are displaying a list of products. Then a single product, again have a product image, a button, a text, everything. Instead of writing all in a single file, we will divide it into smaller components. How we are doing that? Let's see. So in this example, let us create a hello world component. How we will do? Again in the similar way. Okay, we will write a function. So hello. Okay, we are writing an arrow function, right? And it will return a text with hello. Right? Now, this component I want to use here. So I can write here hello, return hello. Now it is returning this hello. Okay. If I want to use the name as well, so what I will do, I will receive prop here and I will pass name to this hello. And with this hello, I will use curly braces. Okay. Why? Because within UI element, if you want to use any JavaScript, then you have to use curly braces. Okay. So I use curly braces, and within curly braces, I will write prop.name. Now you can see hello Ramesh. If I pass another one, let me wrap it within a view, because JSX can return only one top level element. Okay, now we need two hello. So what I did, I wrapped within a view. Hello name equal, let us say Suresh. So what I did here, I passed directly a value instead of a variable. And you can see here hello Suresh. So a single component we used two times, right? And here we followed an important principle. Don't repeat yourself, the dry principle. What dry principle says? If you can reuse a chunk of code, then you should do that instead of rewriting that code again and again. Okay. Now think this example in a broader sense. When we do our product listing page, a single styling we will apply for all our items. So suppose we have 100 items, then 100 times we have to write that. Correct? Instead of that, we will create a separate component for our product cart and we'll reuse that again and again. Okay. Here you can see that we are writing this hello two times, but we no need to do this as well. We can use our loop to do that. Okay. That we will see how to do. Just try to understand the basic. Okay. Yesterday I told you the same principle. Where concept is very clumsy, you should use simple examples to understand the concept. And we are doing that now. Okay, concept is clumsy. So we are trying to use simple example to understand the concept. Once we understood the concept, then we will go with our complex thing. We will create our product listing page. Okay. So I think till now you understood how to pass prop. But what if someone forgot to pass the prop? Suppose I forgot here. I used simply hello. Okay. So in this case, it is undefined. That's why it is not displaying anything, but you should properly handle it. Okay. It is a best practice to handle it properly. So how we can handle that? Here, we will check whether prop.name is undefined or not. If it is undefined, we will use a empty string. Okay. Now we can destructure here. Instead of prop, we can write name directly, because we know that user will either pass name or not. Then we can write like this: name or empty string. Means if name is undefined, then it will use this empty string. Or you can set a default value here. Okay, it depends on you. All three are correct. So here we have a default value for our prop. Now, if we are passing anything, then it will display that. If you are not passing anything, then it will use this default value. Let us say the default value is world. So if you are not passing any prop, then it will display hello world. If you are passing anything, then it will display that. Okay. Now I think you got a clear idea about prop. So prop we are passing from our parent component to our child component. Now yesterday we have discussed that if we want to display something on our UI, we have to re-render the UI. And here you can see Ramesh, Suresh and the world, everything is displaying on the screen. So what does it mean? It means definitely the UI is re-rendering, right? So whenever your prop is changed or you passed a new prop, your UI will re-render. Okay. But in case of state, what we understood, that if state is updating, then your UI will re-render. Okay. So now we got a clear idea about prop. State we already know. Component we understood how to create. Now this component we created in the same file. We can create it in a separate file as well. So let us create it here, hello.js, and I will remove it from here and put it in hello.js file. Okay. Now it is saying hello is not defined. Why? Because we moved that to a separate file. So if you are doing something like this, then you have to export this file from here. So export default hello. Why we are writing default? Can we write something else? We will discuss that later. Okay. And this text don't exist here, right? So we will import it from React Native. Okay. Now we have created a component that is called hello, and we'll use that in our app. So we will import hello from the file exists in our current folder. Okay, the exact path you have to give. And now the program will work fine. There is no error. Okay. So what we understood from this, either we can write the component in that same file, which does not mean anything, because basically we are creating components to make things simpler, right? So if we write everything in a single file again, then it will be clumsy, right? When you yourself debug your file again, you make any changes or any correction to your own file, you will get confused. Okay. So always try to keep components in separate files and different folders. We will discuss that later, how we will create the folder structure, which file you will keep where. Okay, those things we will discuss later. So for now, what we understood, we will create components in different files, import those files and use it. Okay. But as we are learning now, you can see the whole code. That's why we can write in a single file. That's not an issue. Now, if you go to iOS and launch it, while it is launching, let's go to our nodes. Okay, it launched. Click on open. And in this hello, I will give it a styling. Font size, let us say 50. Okay, I don't know what happened to this. Okay, now it is running. Okay, while it is running, let's go to our nodes and look at that. So if we are using normal view, last time you saw that it is going beyond our screen. Okay, why this happens? Because now in this latest mobile devices, we have camera and face reading. Okay, that covers your actual screen, some portion of your screen. If we want our app don't cover those things, then we can use safe area view. Okay, let me give a styling to this as well. Background color, let us say white. Okay, now we can see it. Okay, and flex one so that it will cover the whole screen. Okay, let us read our notes first, then we will come back here again. The view component is a basic building block for creating UI. It does not automatically adjust for device with notches, rounded corners, or area reserved for system UI elements like the status bar or navigation bar. So what we can do, we can use safe area view if we want to avoid those specific UI things. Okay, here I have written in notes the use cases also. Now let us import safe area view for our app component, and that we will import from React Native. And instead of view, let us use safe area view. Now you can see our app things within safe area, right? If we change the color, then we can see it properly. Okay. So now it is not covering the camera or this rounded corners. Everything, whatever we kept here, will be displaying properly in the screen. That's why you should use safe area view instead of normal view. It will handle both in Android and iOS, but specifically we are using it for iOS, the space area view. In Android, it will work like a view. Okay. Now, we will display a list of items, right? List of products in our listing page. So how to display a list of products? If you want to display a list of products, then definitely you are fetching those products from backend, right? I have created a dummy backend for you. You can go through this Swagger API to know what you will use and how you will use. So this all products, it will give you a list of products in this format: ID, name, price. And how we will get? We have a fetch API in JavaScript. So let me create here a state, let us say products, and set product. At the beginning it is empty, okay, and this use state we will import from React. Okay, it will give us something like this, right? So let us create a copy of this. Okay, put a comma and paste it again, and just change the ID. Okay, we are creating a dummy data, so that first we will fix our UI properly, then we will make the API call, fetch all this data from backend and display. So here again we need JSX, we need our JavaScript, right? That's why I created curly braces. Within curly brace, I will use these products. Okay, so products dot map. What it do? Map function will accept a callback function. Okay, and will iterate through each element. Now we have two elements, right? So if I use map, then it will go through each element and give it to me. I can name it anything, suppose product. Now this product will give me single products, and whatever I return here will be returned to the UI again. For now, let me use a text component and display only the name of product. So for name, we have name. Again, I will use curly brace, product dot name. Okay, why I used question mark? Because we can handle the undefined as well. Okay, now I have two items here, so you can see two items. Let me give it a styling, font size, suppose 40, so that you can see it properly. Okay, now it is displaying me two different items. If I change it to item 2, see item 2, right? As I said earlier, when complex is concept, we should keep the things simpler, right? So let us keep it simple for now. Treat it as our product card. We will change it later. Okay. So for now, we know that it is working fine. We will delete it from here because at the beginning, it should be empty. Data we will fetch from our API. Okay. Now, we will import another hook that is called use effect. Detail about use effect hook we will discuss in later sessions. But for now, if you write something like this, use effect, then a callback function, then comma, dependencies. And this dependency array should be empty. So this command will, this callback function will be executed when your component mounts means when you are running it for the first time. Here what we will do, we will fetch the data. So our API is, you can click here, try it now, and click on execute. So this is our API. Okay, you can see here request URL. You can copy this and it will give you a response like this. Okay, first let us see the response. So I will write here. Okay, and as it is an asynchronous operation, we need await. So within use effect, we cannot write an asynchronous operation. So what we will do, we will create another function. For now, let us write it outside of it. Then we will move it inside. Fetch product. Okay, and this await. So await means it will wait for this product to be fetched. If you don't know async await, then go and study about async await. Okay, and we will store it within a response. So response equal await. Okay, we got our response. Then JSON equal response dot JSON. Okay. Now let us console.log this JSON data and see what we got. So if we go to logs, and we can see nothing is there. Why? Because we are not calling this fetch product anywhere. So what we will do, we will call our fetch product here within use effect. Okay, now you can see, okay, the list of products, but it displays in a different way. Right? Why? Because we need an await here as well. Okay, now you can see it in proper format. Understood? So one await during fetching the product, another await during converting to JSON. Then we got our data, and this data we will update in our products. So we will write set products, this JSON. Okay, and you can see the list of items. Got it? Now let me clarify you again what we did. We wrote a function called fetch products, which will fetch the list of products from backend, and then it will update our state, and we know if state is updated, then UI will re-render again. So UI re-rendered and it displayed the list of items. Okay, but there is an issue here. The list of items goes beyond our screen and we can't scroll it because till now it is not scrollable. So if we want to scroll down, then we have to use another concept that is called scroll view. So here, let us use a scroll view, and within scroll view, we will write this code. Okay, now you can see we can scroll this. Okay. So what we learned view, a simple view, safe area view. If you want to display your UI within the safe area, okay, outside of camera, the corners, all those things, then safe area view. If your content is going beyond the screen and you want to make it scrollable, then scroll view. Okay. But now there is another issue, performance issue. When we are saying production level code, industry standard code, means we should write how the industry professionals are actually writing the code. Then we will pass the interview. So what is the issue here? You can see it working fine, right? There is no issue. But think of a scenario where we have thousands of data returning through that API call. Okay, we want to display thousands of items at a time. And each item again has very heavy data like images, okay, and maybe more text, all those type of things. So it will take too much of time, right? And your mobile device may also hang while loading those complete UI. So how we will handle those things? For that, we have another optimized thing that is called flat list. Now, what is the difference between a scroll view and a flat list? A scroll view, it renders all the components. Now, if you go through the API call and look at here, it gives us totally 100 items. Okay, so it will create UI for all these 100 items. Then definitely it will take time. But you can see, even if we are displaying only title, but maybe 10 or 15 titles are only visible. So if only 15 are visible, why we are rendering all 100? That is not necessary, right? Now here flat list comes into picture. Flat list renders only that much of components which are required, only that much of UI. For this example, we have only 15 UIs which are visible on the screen, right? And if we let us do it properly. So let me give a margin of 10 and background color, let us say okay, and text color, let us say white. And a padding of 10. So now you can see only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 items are visible on the screen. Okay. So if only 9 items are visible, okay, I have to remove myself. Yes. So now only 9 items are visible on the screen, right? So if only 9 items are visible, then why we will render all the 100 items? Okay, that is not required, right? Let me move myself a little bit side. So yes, now it is better. So what should do? It should render only 9 items which are visible on the screen for better performance optimization, right? You may think that how it impacts if we have a 2-second delay or 3-second delay. Yes, it matters. When it comes to lakhs of items, thousands of items, it matters. When your item is scalable, your application is scalable, at a time millions of users are using your application, then it matters. Every second matters. Okay. So what flat list do? try to understand this concept. Most interviewer ask this. Okay, in that interview question set also you will get it. If you have not taken that till now, then you can take that. All the interview questions I am specifying there. So here, flat list renders only visible components, means in this case only 9 plus additional 2 components, one from top, one from bottom. Because when you start scrolling, the next component will be visible, right? So it will render only 11 components. Let us think it as a container. Okay, so 11 containers, and we'll keep the data within that. Now, when we are scrolling up, so the number 1 is not visible to us. Now only 2 is visible or 3 is visible, suppose. So we are seeing only 3 to 12 on the screen. Okay. So what it will do? It will render from 2 to 14. Okay. So how it handles those things? Already 11 components are rendered, right? It will only switch the data. Okay, that's why it is called recycle view. The first component it recycles and use it again where it is required. Okay, you just think it in this way, that it is moving one and again using wherever it is required. That's why it is called recycler. Okay, so as it is not creating that UI completely again, it is created only 11 UI and will use that. Okay, it is not creating again those components. So that's why it saves a lot of time. It only updates the data between those 11 components when you are scrolling it. Okay, I think you may have understood the concept till now. Now, let's go to Android, because from so many times we are using iOS. So now that is saying your time is over. Okay, let's go to Android. But before even going to Android, let's go through the documentation. It is very important to understand, because it is a tough concept for everyone and a very important concept. Okay, but before that I forgot one thing. That's why I prepared this note, so that we will go in a sequential manner. Otherwise, generally what happens as a teacher, when we are teaching something, we go with the flow, okay, and may forget certain things. Okay, so the next we will try to understand what is the difference between fetch and axios. Can we use axios instead of fetch? If yes, why? What is the plus point? What are the benefits of using this? Okay, that we will discuss. Here you can see in our program, we have used this one, right? Let me write another function called fetch product with axios. Okay, and here we will use axios. We will not use fetch. So instead of fetch, I will write axios dot get, and axios is not an inbuilt function. That's why we have to install axios package. So let us go to package.json and see. Yes, axios is not there, right? Now, if you use this one, fetch product with axios, let's see what happens. But before that, we will do one more thing. Here, we don't need this step, response.json. Okay. So let us log our response and see what we are getting here. So instead of fetch product, I will write fetch with axios. Okay. Now, remove the logs and refresh it. I have copied this, so we'll reload again. Okay, cannot find hello, not required. We will remove this. Okay, now let's launch it. So when our component loads, it will call this axios to fetch our data, but it does not exist, right? So on handle property axios does not exist, right? So this one we have to import. So import axios from axios, but we don't have this package as well. So you can see here an error. Axios is not defined in dependencies. Click on add dependency. Now you can see in package.json we have axios. And in console log, we were console logging the response, right? In response, you can see a data. And within data, we will get our actual data. Okay. So in our app.json, what we will do, in the set products, we don't need this one, this extra step. Whatever response we got, we can update response.data. Okay. Now, let me refresh this, because as we are using use effect, so it will run only when we are mounting the component, not after that, right? Only once it will fetch all the data. Okay, I forgot to update the data here. So response.data, right? Then it will update. And now let's see. Sorry, the UI is not displaying to you, right? Now it should. Okay, now let us, sorry, I'm using only console log, not set product. So set product and response.data. Okay. So here, if you compare these two, this fetch product and fetch product with axios, in fetch product, okay, I changed here. So this tab should be here. JSON equal response.json, and here this one we are updating, right? So this extra step, await response.json, this is not required in case of axios. And axios can handle your errors in a better way as compared to your fetch. That actually I have written in the notes clearly what is the difference between fetch and axios. Fetch is a built-in browser API, so we don't need any additional packages like axios or anything else. Okay, and it is promise based, so it returns a promise that resolves to the response object. Okay, and error handling, this is most important. Fetch does not automatically throw errors for HTTP error status like 404 or 500. You need to handle it manually. But when it comes to your axios, it handles everything properly. Okay, so in upcoming sessions, we will discuss more about this. Now let's focus to our flat list. Okay, you can use either fetch or axios. but I will suggest to use axios always. Once you fetch your data, then you can display it either in scroll view but in flat list. So which one you will use where? It depends. If you have a static list of items, then, okay, just a second. Is it displaying to you? 1 second, let me verify. During decoding, actually, sometimes the nodes are not visible. Yes, now it is visible. Okay. So how you will decide that whether you will use flat list or you will use scroll view? This is a question of every interviewer. When you will use flat list and when you will use scroll view. When your data is static, you know that I have to display only 3, 5 or 10 items. Then you can use scroll view. That's fine. But when you have a huge list of data and performance optimization is crucial there, then you should use flat list. Okay. And there are techniques again to optimize flat list that we will discuss. Okay.